Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Lloyd and I source cars for people on a professional basis. Although most of the cars I source are between £1,000 and £5,000, very often I've been asked to show something a little bit cheaper on the channel, and so I came up with No Budget Reviews, the series where we look at cars that you can buy in good condition with an MOT for under £1,000 and you can enjoy driving. We don't film this in an expensive manner, we don't use separate microphones, we don't use fluid head tripods, we don't even use a DSLR, but we do have a lot of fun. Well, viewers, I've got a real privilege today. This is a Toyota Paseo. I have not seen one of these in a really long time. This is owned by a gentleman by the name of Alex, who was at the Weird Car meet up at Jilk's Garage recently, which is up in Warwickshire, for the Weird Car meet. And Mr. Bill from Fuel Power, who has driven this Mini here today, this is the Lloyd Vehicle Consulting Social at the Coach and Horses in Cadnam in Southampton, actually filmed this, and I saw it, and he actually does know the chap who owns it, so he's very kindly brought it along for me to have a little look at. It's going to be a quick review today. I've not done much preparation on this, so I can't tell you an awful lot about these, but then with the UK market Paseos, which was known as the Cynos in some parts of the world, and there was a convertible version of this available as well, there isn't really much to say. There are only two trims from what I remember, the SI and then the SR. The wheels actually on this car are not off an original one of these. They are off a Yaris SR, so they do look a bit different, but actually better than the standard hubcaps and the seal wheels that would have been on it. We have a look in the boot. It's actually not a hatchback, this, it's a sort of traditional coupe. Use the key for this one. Yeah, there we go, we're open. Like a sort of Renault Megane coupe, the access is a little bit restricted. It's a bit better than that, but it is a bit restricted. I think you can actually fold the seats, yeah, you can, with the sort of lock there. And yeah, for a car like this, which is, you know, supposed to be all about the sort of design and things, it's not actually too bad. Rear seat accommodation doesn't look too bad either. Based on the sort of starlet of the era, or the Tercel, it depends which part of the world you are, because the Tercel wasn't sold over here by then. So, you know, the interior fixtures and fittings aren't the sort of, you know, the last word in kind of luxury, and there's not even any air conditioning in this car. It's really as if Toyota just under-marketed this quite considerably. So we'll just pull this forward, there we go. Just see the back, it's not too bad. That's going to be tight for me, so I might not actually get in today. Yes, you've only got two seat belts, so it's obviously not designed to be the most capacious car. I've got little cup holders there. I've got the 3-point seat belt, which is good. That's quite a satisfying mechanism, actually. That's not too bad. Quite like that. Second mission documents aren't going in today because a lot of other things are. Let's see if we can close that. Yes, one hand, excellent. That is not the original stereo. There was a sort of single den, more original type Sony stereo in here, but this has been replaced with an Android Auto style head unit. Twin airbags, which is good. I suppose it does look a little bit like kind of the starlet of the era, but that had a different engine. This is a 1.5 of 89 horsepower, was the only engine available in our market. There were other engines available in other parts of the world, but this one was the only one that was available in this country. Big sunroof, you can actually take that out and there's a bag for it. A bit like a Nissan 110X, but that has a sort of T-bar roof. This is just a big sunroof. Let's not damage Mr. Bill's Mini whilst we're here. Ooh, electric mirrors. Not only have you got electric mirrors, you've actually got the indicator on the more kind of usual side. It's on the left rather than the right. Sporty little dials, and very typical Toyota sort of interior, and you can tell it's based on something relatively low down the range, just because we haven't got anything fancy in here at all. It all works, and it's all sort of tested time quite well. This car was bought for, you know, very, very decent money in terms of no budget reviews, so we're well within the budget for this, which is great, and very, very 90s trim. That is crazy. Electric mirrors, of course, power shot driver's window, which is something I wasn't really expecting, and they've got power door locks as well. That's pretty good. Absolutely tiny little door pockets. They're not very big, and steering wheel that is leather at all. It's actually, I think, plastic, and so is this gear lever. So interesting sort of market position this. I don't really know kind of where this particularly sort of fits, other than to say it's like a 100NX or a Mazda MX-3, which I think to me possibly were a bit more luxurious than this. I don't know why Toyota just decided to only import so few, but that's just what happened. So they had that leveling switch. Interesting. Right, let's have a look at the engine. So this is the 5EFE engine, which in this application develops 89 horsepower. Other cars in other markets, Cynos and Paseos, did have other options, but this is the only one that we got. It's not the same engine that was in the Starlet that was around at the time. That was a 1.3 version of this engine. Imagine it's sort of okay, we'll see when we go on a little trip out, but there we go. Toyota Motor Europe Marketing and Engineering. But I think these were made in Japan, not at Burnaston, which is where, by this stage, things like the Carina E were being made. Right, let's go out for a short spin, shall we? Right, off we go. Just a little spin today, not too far. Feels very, very, very easy to drive. It's the first thing straight away. Really, really easy. Very light clutch. Nice positive gear change. Light steering. Tell it's based on like a Starlet. Actually, the acceleration's okay. It's not the fastest car I've ever driven, but it's okay. I might be able to have a go in a Cynos that actually I've been offered as well, which is the Japanese domestic market version of this car, also sold in other countries, and that is actually a convertible version of this, so that might be interesting. But this feels good. Let's just go round a couple of roundabouts and just see what this is like. See before Alex has to head off. Yeah, it feels okay. The steering's very light. Just feels like, you know, most other Japanese 16-valve engines of the 90s. Just nice and willing. No flat spots or anything. Gear change is lovely in this. Handling, it's okay. It's more what I would expect to find in something like a Starlet, and not so much in a sports car. It's hardly surprising, really. Sounds alright. Yeah, it's alright. It's quite good fun, this, actually. It's not too bad. The camera mount's probably shaking around a bit, which is what it does, but there we go, it's no problem. These without the alloy wheels really do look not particularly special. That might be one of the reasons why we didn't sell very well. And yeah, it actually drives okay. There's quite a lot of body roll, but steering's accurate enough. It's just a little bit light, really. You say that of a lot of cars these days too. Yeah, it seems great. Obviously, these, like anything for under £1,000, it's an old car. You've got to be careful about rust, and you know, it looks like these are prone to cam cover gasket leaks, like a lot of Japanese engines at the time. But to be honest, it's not bad. I quite like this actually. It's a surprise, you know, that I'd be filming this car today, and I certainly didn't know that I'd quite like it, but I sort of do. And for a budget of under £1,000, this car was owned by the same family for most of its life, and it's done 107,000 miles, and it feels, to be honest, it feels really good for that age. See, a sunny day like today, you want to open that big sunroof, or just remove it entirely, because you can take it off, and just enjoy the weather in a little cheap sports car that's got, you know, low priced parts, because they're mainly Toyota Starlet parts. What more could you ask for? Do you know what, viewers? I've really enjoyed this car. I don't really know much about these, but I've always wanted to drive one, and now I have. I can understand the appeal. They don't maybe look most exciting. I think that's a lot to do with the sort of trim choices they made in this country, and just having this single engine option, which probably was just to do with ease of things, maybe didn't help. But I'm very grateful to Alex letting me have a go in this. I think it's a weird car in this country, but it's a pretty good one. Quite enjoyed it. Anyway, thank you for watching this episode of No Budget Reviews. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, to like this video and leave a comment below. And if you want to become a channel member, then there's a join button below the video. Don't feel you have to, of course. That's just if you feel led to do so. And we'll see you again soon for more reasonably priced motoring.